Welcome to Link Building Hangout with Dejan SEO. What we're going to do is start off with the guests in the chat to see if anyone got any specific questions that they would like to ask or discuss. And if not, we will move on to the moderator page and try to answer some of the questions from there. So guys, do you have any questions for me right now?
Oh, Dan, I'll go first.
Yep, sure.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on directories. There is still a lot of emphasis out there on we will submit your site to directories, and I just think it's a bit of it's only a matter of time before they just become redundant. They're purely for, except for the big ones, I consider them to be purely for SEO now. And I just wondered what your thoughts were as far as promoting clients and content to directories, because they just seem like they're just setting themselves up to take a hit.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because just think about it. If you were Google, what would you do? Well, first of all, a lot of these directories that have really low barrier to entry, low barrier to entry. So that basically means that anyone can get in for a very low price or no cost at all. And Google no doubt have good understanding of what those websites are. And I would argue, obviously I don't work at Google, but from discussions we've had and the feedback we've received, and also observing the rankings, it seems like mass directory submission barely has any effect. In the old days, people used to count, the number of unique domains they get links from, a number of unique IP addresses that they get links from. But just like with, not all links are the same. And I think Google has very good methods of determining what site is sort of promiscuous in terms of link, if you know what I mean. You basically can get any way you like. And they surely factor that in. So whether this type of stuff can cause a penalty or not is arguable. I think if you have a very good website with some natural links, and if you've done a bunch of directory submissions, I don't think this will have any impact whatsoever. But if you have a young website and the first thing you've done is, all right, so I just set up my new domain, this is my new website, I'm just going to do some directory submission because I heard it on a forum, or I went to this SEO seminar and some guru told me that that's what I should do. Basically, that website would probably not experience any significant increase in their rankings. And if anything, if they continue in that direction, I would argue that that website could end up in some sort of trouble, tripping some sort of filter with Google, especially if the type of links that they're generating is using other signals like exact match anchor text and other slightly manipulative tactics. So typically, directory submission is not something that can harm, but it's also not something that helps a great deal. I would probably focus on actual local directories that matter to your either industry or directories that matter to businesses in general. For example, in Australia, we've got a number of fairly well-established directories. We've got, your Hot Frog, which is an international directory as well, and we've got, your True Local and Yellow Pages and whatnot. I think for a small business or for any type of business, it's common sense to be listed in those. But going that extra length and trying to clock up numbers by directory submissions is absolute waste of time. I think there are much better ways of building links. In fact, we all know that links are not the only search engine signal, and they're sort of losing their power in comparison to what they used to have. So I would say that there are much better things to do with your time than focus on directory submission.
Yeah, no doubt. I guess the big thing was, I don't know if you saw the thing on G Plus a couple of days ago from Darren Rouse about bloggers getting spammed with requests.
That's a good one, and it really makes you it really makes you think about what we as SEOs are actually doing for the internet. If it used to be your normal spam, buy Viagra and payday loans and whatever, those type of emails. Now bloggers are overwhelmed with, oh, hi, I really like your blog. And in fact, you haven't even read it. You don't understand the person you're contacting. I think he makes a really good point, and that's a big, huge wake-up call for all people who are engaged in link building and in SEO in general, is not to spam people. And if you do things, you can't do it on mass scale. I think there was a recent post on scaling link building, and that's a lot of people are wondering how you can do this. But arguably, link building process of outreach is something you can't really scale effectively. You can scale things like the way you organize yourself and manage your activities and coordinate your team. But if you're on somebody's blog and you're not actually reading it, you don't know who this person is, you can cause an enormous amount of trouble for your client and or yourself if you're working in-house. More specifically, there was some issues that we had in our own team, and I'm going to tell you what happened. There was this technology blogger, pretty well established in Australia, and one of my guys approached him quite casually, and hey, can we? There's a little bit of a story, and can we get a link? And it was for an insurance company, and he goes, oh, I know what you're up to. You're just trying to score a link. You don't really care. He made a big deal out of it. And we had a discussion about this, and we said, well, why did you don't even know who this guy is. He's criticized this type of activity in the past. Have you not read his blog? No, I'm rushed. I have deadlines. I gotta, because back then we strictly complied with the requests of our clients. I want this many links. Nowadays it's a little bit silly. Okay, I'm going to pay X amount of money, and you're going to give me Y amount of links. So each month we're going to produce 30 links, and that's what you're paying us for. That's such a wrong way to look at SEO in general and link building. And we need to sort of shift away from that, because one link can be more than 100 links in essence. Basically, if you compare 100 links from cheap directory submissions and one actual normal link, I would swap them anytime. I would settle for one link.
Well, the crappy ones are probably more dangerous.
In fact, they can cause some risk. Yeah. So I think everyone should read that. If somebody can find that article or that Google Plus post, I would appreciate if you can push it through the comments in the Hangout post. That would be really good, so people know what we're talking about. Okay, Priyal Parik says it's packed, and I might need to post our Hangout page. All right, so people can actually see it. Did I post it in the chat here? Of course, we don't need it, but if you know anyone who's trying to join in, but they can't, then feel free to send them that link that I just put in the chat. Okay, any more questions from the chat?
All good.
Martin has a question. He's going to have to type it up though. See above. Okay, already. Is there a maximum amount of people can join? Oh, this is related to the Hangout.
Yeah, I could only...
Sorry, Richard. I just muted you. I thought you were just typing frantically about something else.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I could only join because someone else left, and I was like spamming the rejoin button for a minute because I was in another Google Plus, and there was like 7 people in there waiting, and then all of a sudden, Luke, my colleague, said, "Oh, it's in a different one." So there's probably, and I told everyone just before I came here, "Hey, everyone, it's moved." So there's probably at least 10 people trying to join.
Yeah, we're actually attempting to handle that issue by repointing people to this one, although it's already filled up.
Yeah.
For those who don't have any specific questions, if you're satisfied with just watching the Hangout, you can always click the link that I just pasted before and watch the Hangout as well if you don't want to participate in the discussion. Okay, so Martin says, does it reduce your blog's link power by leaving the spammer links intact and not deleting them? Do you mean if you have like a blog post and people comment on it with various keywords in links and so forth? Okay. Basically, if these links are all handled through nofollow, which I'm guessing most of the blogs handle that, then this will not harm your website in any way. The only thing I can think of, because basically links that are nofollow, they are not part of the link graph. Google does not do anything with them in terms of link signals. But one thing you have to worry about is that if you have a page of content, and it's like a short paragraph, and then 10,000 comments below that, and they're all talking about XXX and Viagra and various other forms of spam, then you might actually have a problem with the topical dilution of the page. I'm not sure if Google's clever enough yet to handle every type of comment, to understand, okay, this is the actual content and this is the comments. But I would, not just for the sake of SEO, I would moderate that page and just clean it up because it's just plain embarrassing. But in terms of links, there's absolutely no harm. Cool. All right. Any more questions from the chat? Otherwise, we're going to jump into the moderator. Okay, Jim asks, what is your view on site-wide links, assuming that the site providing the link has provided with no ulterior motive? There's nothing wrong with site-wide links. I never heard Google saying site-wide links are bad, or other search engines for that matter.
Sorry to interrupt there, but it's a big topic in the Webmaster Help Forum. It's being used by many of the people giving advice there, and I agree with you. But yeah, okay, so I'll go back and tell them that Dan told me.
Look, we just have to think about what occurs naturally around the web. SEO is only a small, SEO has relatively small impact on the web, and we have to consider other instances that occur of site-wide linking, and they were there before Google. They are totally legitimate. Now, where the problems arise is when you start manipulating anchor text of the site-wide link and setting it to a particular keyword, and if you start noticing that there are a lot of unrelated links site-wide. Say, for example, somebody asked about blog rolls. If you have a blog roll, you're talking about, your blog's about turtles, and you link out to blog rolls, about people talking about fishing and marine life and whatever, maybe pets. That's perhaps acceptable, but if you start linking out to SEO companies and insurance companies and whatnot, that's when site-wide links start to raise flags with Google. And if I was part of the Google's web spam team, and if I arrived on a blog which has manipulative anchor text and site-wide links and linking to different unrelated links, it would be black and white for me. I would see that that's a manipulative attempt. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's just common sense. Okay, so let's see what questions we have on the moderated page. I think there was a few interesting ones in there, so just bear with me for a sec. So the top question by popularity was by SEO Techie from Manila, Philippines. What is the most effective link building method that Dejan SEO used to its clients and can tell everybody that, hey, it worked? That's interesting. It's a really interesting question. I like being challenged like that with it, because when you build links for different clients, you use different methods. So if you have a tourism-related client, you build links differently to when you have financial services client, or if you have an e-commerce store, because opportunities for links are wildly different. They vary so much that there is no right or wrong. But I don't want to leave it as empty as that. I'll say that currently popular link building method among my team, it's not something I control. I typically have a vision, and I give my guys option, but everyone's sort of going nuts over guest blogging. And guest blogging is one of the, I would say, very popular link building method. It seems legitimate, but we have to put a little asterisk sign on it, because I think guest blogging is going to become, and has become, the new link exchange. And we have to really worry about guest blogging in terms of moderation, editorial content, quality, and whether there's been sort of monetary exchange in return for the link. So typically, I think Google and other search engines don't really have a problem for as long as we do things organically. And well, we're not supposed to link build to start with, but you can argue that guest blogging is a marketing effort anyway. So, for example, if you're link building through guest blogging, I think you should write normal stuff. You should tell stories, not really write promotional articles. You should not really stuff your article, your post with anchor text. You should the link should appear where link should appear through editorial context, not just because you want to get that link. And link out generously to other content that's useful to others. I would avoid, when guest blogging, I would avoid doing things like deals. I'll send a guest post for you and you do one for me. So it's kind of like, even though it's going to be very hard for search engines to catch up with that sort of type of arrangement. Where I would get really worried is once you start automating this process, right? There are places out there that have been running for a while. What is it, My Guest Blog or something like that, and where people start to sort of get a bit more organized. So if you have an army of people churning out guest posts and doing things like that, and you automated it suddenly, that's where you're sort of opening up a bit of a Pandora's box as far as that's concerned. My other favorite link building method is by leveraging brands. And that's why it's so important to actually not just obsess and work on your SEO, but also think about, am I a good business? Am I a good brand? Am I recognizable? If people see my logo, will they remember it? Will they recognize it next time? And of course, we know that branding is not just about a logo that you have on your shirt. Branding is about what you do and how you interact with customers and the quality of your product and the culture about the company and everything else. Why I'm talking about this is because there are many, many ways that you can leverage of the power of your brand once you have it developed to gain links in many different ways. I'll show you one example. So I'm just going to flip over to my screen here and share it with you. Okay, hopefully that's coming up nice and clear. Okay, so on this website, this is one of the staff. So we've done SEO, and there's a page that talks about what we've done. So here is the logo. So what I've done, I've developed images that were used on various other websites. Okay, so here you can even do things like more sizes. It didn't work in this case, but it often can. So here you're discovering your link opportunities. Okay, so these guys used our logo, but the question you're asking yourself, have they linked to us? So in this case, we're discovering a relationship. So Australian Technology Park is where our Sydney office is located, and they've used our logo to link. Obviously, we have organized for this website. Oh, this is another tip. When you're finding your logo everywhere on the web and you're wondering, can I get a link here? I think a better way to get link from the logo is not just to link it to your website, but especially if you're on a page like with many logos like that. If each one of these was linking out to its own website, that page would be linking out to many other pages. You'd be getting a relatively small fraction of that page's link equity. So what we like to do is create a separate page dedicated to our business that talks about us and then links through to our website. Note that we didn't actually use SEO or search engine optimization, anything like that. We use just our URL to link through. Google and search engines, they're smart enough to figure out, yes, okay, there's some SEO context in this. Now, interestingly, I had a discussion, or I asked Google a question about, okay, so we know that we can put SEO in this page that you just seen. Google knows that we can put SEO, because why am I pretending, why am I dumbing down my anchor text? Just to be safe? And the answer I got was basically, if you have a profile, if you have, say, your Google Plus profile, and you're de-optimizing your own anchor text just because you want to be safe, the answer I got was, we wouldn't worry about, if you put exact match anchor text you want to rank for, if you put it in your personal profile or, like legitimate pages like that, that's completely fine. Once you start doing, more manipulative stuff, paid links, sponsored, article networks and things like that, and you use exact match anchor text, that's when it can hit you. So even with Penguin, things like this, if you have a legitimate page and a legitimate business, I don't think you should worry too much about that anchor text, because now you know that if you use exact match anchor text, that'll help you more than something else. Though arguably we left it like this, and it does carry its normal value. So what we've done here is we basically utilize our logo, reverse image search to find link opportunities. But this is not exactly what I meant by brand. When you have a big brand, you can do other things. Not even a big brand. I think Richard is one of those people who, he's not a huge brand, but he's a brand, right? He's created a brand. And it's a totally different experience once you start approaching and contacting people for cross-promotion interaction, whether they've heard about you before or not. Makes a significant difference. So to illustrate, take for example a big travel brand, right? Big travel brand, a big travel agent wanting to earn more links. What can they do? For example, they can have a blog section on their website saying small business of the week. And they can feature a camper van business or a tour guide or whatever. And they feature this business on their blog, and then they tell them about it. Say, for example, if you're a small business operator and you appear on a huge travel website, be proud of that, wouldn't you? And you would link to it and share it in Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus if you can, and likely you'll create that link. You can even go a step further and you can give them a little badge saying, as featured on such and such travel website, right? Just try not to make widget bait, right? Things like, because that's sort of going into the risky zone. What I mean by that is like spreading widgets out and little logos and badges, but manipulating anchor text and creating something that will actually help you rank better. So I think if you sort of draw the line there, I think you'll be quite safe. So those are two examples of how you can leverage brand to earn links. And there's many other cases. I can talk about this a lot more, but I think we should probably go through a few more questions. There's a really massive article coming up where I'm talking about leveraging brand power to earn links with some really, really interesting tips. Cool. Any more questions from the chat, or shall we go to the next one in the moderator? Moderator it is. Okay. How many types of link building? What is the best type of link building? That's kind of similar, isn't it? My preference would be on relationship-based link building. Relationship-based link building is basically a broad area, but it involves examining as a first step. Kind of like the first question I had, should I be submitting to directories? You know, should I bother? Not really. If you're an established business, you've been running for a year, 2 or 5 years or 10 years, the likelihood of you being connected in the business world is very high. So you'll probably have suppliers, you'll have web design companies doing work for you, somebody designed your logo. So I think the best way to build links is to think about how you're connected in the business world, examining those relationships, creating yourself a list, and going through that list in some order of priority, perhaps sorted by MozRank or domain authority or some other metric that you can use. Or if you can think about your own personal relationships. I'm a Griffith University alumnus, for example, and each year I do some at least 2 or 3 lectures to students. For me, it's completely reasonable to contact the university and arrange some sort of page about me or organize that link from there. That would be my first priority. Or perhaps if I've done something with government, held a presentation or seminar helping small business get ahead online, that would be the line of thinking that I would take. So the best type of link building is creating reasonable links that can last over time, not something that is a quick scheme that's going to fizzle out or even cause you a penalty later on. So my focus would be towards relationship-based link building. That's definitely the best type of link building you can do. I said that guest blogging is most popular currently among my link builders, but I'm monitoring that process very strictly. But the best, in my opinion, link building is through your relationships and connections in the business world. Okay, third question, using Xenu to find broken links on other websites related to your site and then contacting their webmasters to offer a solution. Have you used this tactic with success? Yes, I have. Except I have not used Xenu. As you probably know, we've got a team of developers here at Dejan SEO, and we write all sorts of wonderful tools. But a little bit like Google, we have a rule of, don't be evil. If you're about to do something, you got to ask yourself, is this damaging the web? Is this doing something naughty? And that's kind of a guideline where we try to moderate ourselves. To give you one example, for a very long time, one of the SEO companies was ahead of us, and we were trying to, we were a very small SEO company at the time. We were trying to creep up to them, and we could never get there. And what I did is I wrote a bot that scanned their website and found any broken links, and then based on the broken links, I would then scan to see if any of those broken links are either domains that are misspelled or domains that don't exist anymore. So what I did then is I found one link. It was a pretty good link from my competitor's website. I registered the domain and then 301'd it back to our site. We had such a good laugh in the office about this. But I don't think we do this anymore. It was a good laugh, and whether you want to build links that way, do you really want to have 100 links or 1,000 links that were created in that way? Probably not, because the sacrifice you're making is too great to justify the benefit. Did I just give somebody ideas? Don't do that.
What was the competitor?
It was guys from eWeb Marketing. They could probably laugh at this watching it. I'm probably gonna find the link and tell them which page is a broken link. No, I like those guys. We're quite friendly. There's
good. That's all right then.
We just did it for the laughs. Okay, any more questions from the chat, or shall we move to the next one in the moderator? Okay, Martin's asking a question. He's typing, so I'm going to try to answer one in the meantime. Luke Chapman asks, what are your thoughts on social link building? Facebook, Twitter, G+, Instagram, Pinterest, etc. Worthwhile? Efforts better spent elsewhere? It's a really good one. I like to combine. I don't really make distinction between link building and social activities. To me, it's a little bit of a blur. It's all the same. So let's call it just online marketing. Because two things work hand in hand. If you've just written a post on your blog or on somebody else's blog, you're sharing that through social media. People are reacting to that. If the content is good, that's going to get links and social shares. The other way around, if you engage with people on social media platforms, that can result in links as well. But going back to relationships again, what are links? Links are connections between web pages, but Google treats them as endorsements, as little votes. So in a sense, links are a sign of relationships between two pages or two domains or two websites. So social media is great for building relationships, and relationships are great for building links. So if you sort of separate the two, I don't think you're looking at the whole thing the right way. So I'm a big fan of social media. I'm a big advocate of Google+. I really enjoy the platform. I use Facebook only a fraction of my time. Twitter a little bit more than Facebook. I spend the majority of my time on Google+. Instagram I don't touch, and Pinterest I don't touch. Also, it's my personal choice. I spend my time where I'm comfortable. So I hope that answers your question. But in terms of like crude value, should I get 1,000 shares or should I get 1,000 links? I think I would get 1,000 links still, right? Depends. I guess if they're from crappy directories, I wouldn't. Likewise, if you buy 1,000 tweets or if you buy 1,000 pluses, I wouldn't want anything to do with that as well. So thoughts on social link building? Fantastic. I love it. I think that's the way to do things. Email's a little bit, my inbox is, chockers. The other day I was celebrating when I brought my inbox to 0. The last thing you want to see in your inbox is yet another link request from somebody. I just delete those. I don't read them. I can scan them in a fraction of a second, 0.5 of a second. I can see if something is I don't even have to open it. I can just read the title of the email. I can delete it. Okay, so Martin had a question. Does Google understand different language? For example, my wife speaks Chinese and has written some articles about my business, aquarium product in Chinese with links to my site. Would Google treat as a similar content to my site even though it's in another language? Yeah, Google handles languages pretty well. Although I would argue that Google doesn't really understand languages. Google indexes a page and indexes elements of a page. They'll dissect and disseminate the page into title, header elements, title, headings, paragraphs of text. They'll extract links. So it's all a little bit like bits and pieces. They pull it apart, and that's fragmented, I guess, in the index. I guess you can see the page in cache as a whole. But I think Google's not truly a semantic search engine just yet. So they look at keywords and proximity of keywords and other signals. So I would say that their understanding of the topic and keywords is pretty good, but I'm not sure what you're trying to say in terms of value. Like, are you worried about content duplication, or because I think it's perfectly normal to have a translated or different version of pages in different language. Okay, Jim has a question or a comment. This site initially attracted quality links like edu, etc., but I noticed a few new links from tattoo shops, etc. recently. This is a complex question, but do you think it would be plus or minus to attach a link to the plain text tagline. What do you mean by that, Jim? Are you actually in the chat? No.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, you are.
It's sort of a bad neighbourhood question, if you like. At the bottom of the page, we say that this site is provided by ShopSafe Online Shopping, but it's plain text. It's not a link. And I know from...
Oh, sorry. Hang on. You're talking about your website, actually.
It's one of ours here.
Okay, yep.
I noticed we talked the other day about a plain text message, and I think John Moo gave you the clear answer that a plain text listing of a URL on a page is not regarded as a link.
No, yeah.
But at the bottom of our page, I have on this site, I have this page. This page is provided by ShopSafe Online Shopping. I'm just wondering whether it's plus or minus. It's just really a bad neighbourhood question. Whether it's plus or minus to link from this site, given that many of the links are what Google would possibly regard as low quality.
Yeah, is this a site-wide link?
Yeah.
And it's linking to an unrelated sort of page.
Well, it's a page, a public service page that we provided ourselves. The people link to it because they find it useful.
Yeah, I don't think this is a problem, to be honest. But have you considered providing some sort of disclosure about this?
In what? How would you go about that?
For example, I've done this several times already, where you have a website and they link out to their sister companies and so forth. I think it's a good practice to explain why you're linking out, like maybe create a page that explains the nature of the relationship, what is the deal here. So for example, if you own 5 other companies and you just want to interlink them, so in order not to look too spammy, I think I remember Google saying it's a good practice to provide a disclosure page where somebody from Google's web spam team can go and read up and go, what's going on here? I see a lot of different links coming out of here. So if they can actually read, oh, okay, Dan also owns 4 other companies, and this is his other businesses, he's just promoting it, yep, that's cool. Though I wouldn't be too sure about using exact match anchor text. I would probably link it through the brand or the URL just to be safe.
Okay, thanks, Dan.
Yeah, and you've never done that. You've never sort of provided like an explanation or disclosure anywhere on your websites.
If you've got time later on, if you could just have a look at the URL, it's hard to explain it. Because of I said it was complex because we market products, and this is a utility to explain how to zip files, which other sites, when they're telling people zip this up and send it to us, can just link to and explain how to do it.
Yep. Okay. I'd love to have a look at it later on.
Okay. Thanks, mate.
Yep. So what is the next? I think Martin Jackson added, it's not copied content, it's unique, but would it be considered a related subject rather than some random site? No, it would be considered similar topic or same topic, because they do, Google Translate works pretty well, so I think they do have connections between different keywords and topics across. But it will be an interesting question to ask Google as well. Maybe we ask them in the next Hangout on Friday whether they understand the topic of 2 different language pages, which I'm guessing they do. Do you see any, Dalen asked, did you see any benefit from the Belgium site that translated your article the other week? Why not? Yeah. I mean, I really liked it. I found somebody, for those who are not familiar, was it Belgium website, Dalen, or was it something else?
Oh, I'm guessing. I thought it was Belgium. Insert country here.
I think it was. I think it was Portugal.
Portugal.
Maybe Brazil. It's hard to say, but basically they translated my article word for word, and they provided this link to the original source, that's fantastic. That type of links I would love to see more. And
Is
I
that
even
penalized? Is that penalized as duplicate content, even though it's in another country, another language?
no, I think that's perfectly normal for a translation of an article to exist elsewhere on the web is a perfectly normal occurrence. Now you may start seeing some light bulbs lighting up. Okay, if I translate articles, I can score links. That's been done and tried already. So basically, there was this link building company that would contact research organizations and academics, and they would offer to translate their research paper into Polish or Ukrainian or Serbian or whatever, Macedonian. I really don't know how relevant would be a translation of my research paper in Macedonian, but I guess some academics took it up as an offer. And later on, the translation company was asking the academic to link back to that where that page is hosted. So they would host the translation on their site. So kind of like almost twisting their arm. Come on, link it, a bit aggressive. And somebody figured it out and they wrote a post outing these people saying they're just trying to scam us. Actually, I received a chain email from academic circles warning people, these evil SEOs, that's all they're trying to do. So academics are now aware and scholars are now aware what we're trying to do. So you can't, if you want to get a link from somebody legitimate like a library or a research paper, you have to put in a little bit of work. You can't just scam them for it. And I thought that's sort of, it's clever. I would consider doing something like that, but these guys were automating it, mass, a lot of people doing the same thing, just churning it. And they weren't actually helping the web. They were linking those articles to their clients and to some hosting company or domain company. I can't remember exactly what happened. So this is sort of like where you would want to draw the line and sort of not go there.
There's a funny, sorry, apologies for interrupting, damn it. There's a funny example of that on the Webmaster Help Forum. The company that did a Korean translation of Wikipedia, and that they were complaining on the Webmaster Help Forum that it wouldn't rank.
Were they expecting to rank for everything that Wikipedia ranks for? Honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with translating Wikipedia in another language. But if you have sort of different motives and you sort of try to slip in some commercial links, and that's sort of where it gets a little bit risky. Okay, let's see the next question. Is a link in an English article going to be better than written in Chinese? I think if you get a link from Chinese website, it might actually help you rank for Chinese language. Not sure about the Chinese actual location, but I think it would actually give some context, some surroundings. So when somebody searches in Mandarin, perhaps you would actually potentially come up as a result for that geo-region, wherever you are, wherever your website is. So a link is going to be valued the same on one level, like sort of crude page rank and the link equity, but then context of it might leaning more towards the say Mandarin search queries. Yakita asks, how should link building be done for big e-commerce websites? I actually wrote quite an elaborate article on this. I'm going to try to find it now. We've got music playing somewhere. I'm going to have to mute you. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Here's the article here. So if you, I think you can just search for e-commerce SEO. In Australia, we come up first, but maybe if you're in a different region, just search for Dejan SEO, e-commerce SEO, something like that, and you'll find the article. Okay, so basically, link building for big e-commerce website is a complex task. We've done this in the past, and it's been a bit of a challenge, but there's a huge amount of opportunities there as well. One thing I would highlight, though, is that before you decide you're going to be link building, maybe set your priorities and your targets right. Because if you have a big e-commerce website with 100,000 products, or even 1,000 products, you should probably ask yourself, what's the most important thing and most important area where I should be focusing on? So I think link building is more for large websites, and e-commerce website is more about getting organized. Now, one specific example I have where link building can work quite well is, let's say you have a page that actually I'm going to actually send you a screen share so you know what I'm talking about. Okay. So here's it's white, fits on a certain car. How do you get links for this page? Well, arguably what you can do is create a competition, and you give away a few of these products. You can market it via social media, maybe through a forum as a giveaway. Just make sure you're perhaps established in that particular forum rather than spamming them. Announce the competition, but don't create a separate competition page. Create a competition page content as a separate fourth tab in this page layout, and publish the rules there and say, I'm giving out 10 of these seats to the first 10, to the first few people who will actually reply or do something or write about it. Doesn't matter, some form of engagement. And then when you're finished with that, you can then pop up a new tab and announce the results by listing the winners on that fifth or fourth tab. What this means is that they can, and of course, when you do this, you want to make sure it's a hash and then winners. So if you have a URL, I think I provide an example here. There we go. I'm going to enlarge my font so you guys can see it a bit clearer. So that's how a URL could look like. So you link to your product URL, and you have the hash winners at the end. And you give this to people to tell them that they won. And you'll see sort of natural sharing, and either through social or blogs of people who actually either participated or won the product. And of course, big one with e-commerce stores is to leverage the post-purchase excitement. We're very enthusiastic. When I bought my Nexus tablet, I was very excited about that. And I was quite disappointed how anticlimactic the checkout page was. I wanted the fireworks and balloons, and I wanted to tell everyone. I wanted to push some button. I was all pumped. Yeah, I'm getting my tablet. And there was nothing on that page. I even took a screenshot and published, and I pinged the Nexus people and saying, you could have done much better with this. So at the end of the checkout process, you can say, tell your friends you just bought this. Or copy paste this code, put it in your blog, announce that you just bought this product. Tell us what you think. Come back, tell us what you think once you've tried it. How was your buying experience, and so forth. Because this throughout the funnel, throughout the sales funnel, you don't want anything to get in the way of conversion. But once you're at the end of it, if you're just greeted with a thank you page and nothing else, it feels a little bit bland. So one of my favorite methods of getting links for big e-commerce sites is to have links happen on their own. That way you don't have to do anything. I hope that helps. Okay, so Richard asks, would you link site-wide directly to the sister sites, or link to an internal page about the sister? Okay, yep. I will do both. Again, if the sister site is a little bit different topically, again, some form of disclosure explaining the nature of that relationship that would be useful. But in addition to that site-wide link, I would create a promotional page about my other website on my main site. I don't know, a few paragraphs of text and contextually link to that site or to the key page that you want to rank. That would be really smart, because you're not only getting just the raw page rank, but you're also getting that editorial value. So definitely do both.
Thank you.
Okay, Ivan asks, is there a way to discover malware-infected sites? Yes. Let me read further. In some TLD, country-specific, we are all aware that malware hurts sites' brands a lot in terms of temporary Google penalty and probably affects in general linking sites as bad neighborhood. It's a challenge to find such businesses more easily and offer them ongoing SEO care. Search for Viagra. I think that's a pretty good. I mean, if you own the site, you can just go to Google Webmasters Tools. Voila, you've discovered the problem. But let's try. Let's try. Let's go buy some Viagra.
Here's a search I did earlier.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It's in my search history.
Yeah.
Okay. Memorymap.com.au, Viagra. Okay. I'm thinking these are all legitimate Viagra websites. It sounds so wrong saying legitimate and Viagra at the same time. Okay. So see, I just found one. So memorymap.com.au. I would imagine would be a legitimate website. I'm so sorry, guys, for Memory Map. This is probably embarrassing because everyone can see this. But arguably, this will help you clean up as well. Maybe somebody can ping these guys and get them to fix up the problem. Because they rank second for Viagra in Australia. That is pretty bad. Okay, so another tip. By the way, I probably wouldn't go and find damaged websites and offer them SEO services. They're probably not going to trust you anyway. I think that's a strange way to get business. But while we're on topic, I would probably go Viagra site org.au. Yep. So we're seeing all these hacked websites which have Viagra. Sometimes you can't see it on the page itself, but you can actually see it in the source code. But if it's not in the source code, most likely you'll be able to see it in the cached version of the page. So if you go view the cache of the page, and because they serve different page to Google, the cloaking to what they show to the normal user. Okay, so we've done some interesting Viagra searches. That's unexpected, but fun, I guess. Okay, Dalen asked, have you had any experience link building for content to rank in Baidu? No, I don't think so. That's probably a question for Wang Feng if he's in the chat at the moment. Yes, he is.
Can I share my story with that?
Please, Richard.
We hired a Chinese computer programmer, and we just said, and he's really, really committed, and he said, should we do a Chinese page? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? And so he made us a Chinese page. I'll put on the URL in a sec. And he just translated the page for us. And I saw you ask that question, and I know that it hadn't ranked for a while, but here's the translation. And I've never actually checked until you asked this, and it's now ranking on position 3 for our keyword in Baidu. There's two links there. First one's the actual page. The second one's the Baidu search result for compare car rental. which is in Chinese. So
I
yeah,
can see it second position.
yeah, and we did a couple of little links to it with the Chinese. I'm not sure from where, but they were probably just cheap and nasty ones. We just didn't think they needed much. It might have just been an internal link even for the Chinese spelling. And yeah, it's now ranking position 3. And he also noticed that we're on a lot of Chinese discussion forums for travel. So
That's nice.
yeah, we're very excited about that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know from speaking to Wang is that his opinion is that there's a lot of spam happening in Chinese SEO. So it's all funny games. So I would imagine it would be a fairly easy challenge in comparison to Australia, United States, or United Kingdom. But I haven't tried, so I can't really say. Be really interesting to see if so. You're saying you just translated that one page and you didn't translate much more of the content.
That we just did our homepage, and there's not even that much content there to translate. And yeah, this was about 12 months ago, and we probably did 2 hours of work on it, including the few links that we linked to it. And yeah, I just tested it again now, and it's on there.
I noticed you're not using the alternate hreflang. That could probably help. But I mean, you're already ranking pretty well. But like specifically for Google,
what's the alternate H?
I'll find some information right now and I'll paste it in the forum.
Okay.
So basically, if you have a website with several different language pages, here's the link in the
gotcha.
chat. By the way, if anyone wants to share this on Google+, I'd appreciate that. Those who are participating in the chat, so others who are just watching on YouTube can see it as well. So basically, I think I've seen it with I think it was MasterCard or that had it set up pretty well.
I see. Yeah, we didn't even worry about stuff like that. It was the keyword that we wanted it to rank for, and I just yeah, it was just interesting. Good question though.
Yeah, maybe American Express. I think it was that one. Yep.
The programmer, we also asked him about the people in China. What do they do? And he said most people use Baidu, but he said smart people like me use Google because they know how to use it.
Proxies.
Like
yeah.
But otherwise, everyone uses Baidu. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I just found the URL. So if you just go to AmericanExpress.com, you will notice on their website, or even the /Australia. If you view the source code of this page, actually, it might be simpler if I actually just share my desktop. Okay. So you will notice that AmericanExpress.com has a redirect from their homepage to Australia, /Australia, and in the source code of the page, we're sort of going a little bit away from the link building topic, but I think this is important enough to mention. I'll zoom in on this a little bit so you can see. Here you can see the language mapping URLs here. So rel, alternate, hreflang, and then different languages. So for example, DE means basically Deutsch and Deutschland for German languages. Here we've got English, Great Britain, and that actually specifies which URL should be served to Google. Well, not served to Google, which URL should be served to users searching for that particular language page. What this means is basically that if you want your UK page rank to rank in the UK, and you want your Canada page to rank in Canada, and so forth, you can tell Google through this markup here, which is really handy. Cool. Have we got any more questions in the forum? Let's see. Nope. Okay. Shall we go to the moderator? If I can find the page again. All right. Zeno, we've answered. What are the best SEO tools? Raven tools, SEMOs, Ahrefs, etc. Yes, those. Raven tools, SEMOs, Ahrefs. I also quite like Majestic SEO. It's one of my favorites. In particular, because it gives you the link growth metrics, which is quite nice. It's something that... I forgot two very important SEO tools. Bing Webmasters Tools and Google Webmasters Tools. I think people ignore those too often. They're probably the most reliable and the most significant tools because they're directly associated with the search engine itself. And there's plenty of good things you can do with them, and plenty of useful data you can extract out of it. I might just... are you familiar with Majestic, most of you in the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look. I'll just share my screen again.